Have you ever woken up and felt like the whole day just evaporated, like you can't quite remember doing anything really
Well,
meaningful?
absolutely. That feeling.
Yeah, you grab your phone, start scrolling, maybe rush breakfast, and then bam, you're just sucked into the programmed machine of work.
Emails, meetings.
Exactly, tasks piling up. And then by evening, you're just drained. All you want is to zone out, maybe in front of a screen,
Hmm.
and you fall asleep thinking, okay, I was busy, but was I busy with the important things? Does that ring a bell for you listening?
I think it rings a bell for almost everyone at some point.
Well, that whole cycle, that busyness without real progress, that's exactly what we're diving into today.
Right.
We're exploring the really profound philosophy of Jim Rohn, the legendary speaker, the teacher of
A
teachers.
giant in the field.
Totally.
Yeah.
And he didn't just talk about like optimizing tasks. He saw time as the actual raw material for designing your life.
Design your life. I like that framing.
Yeah. And look, this isn't just some abstract idea. It's a principle that's helped millions. People like Oprah Winfrey, Tony Robbins. They point to Ron.
His influence is undeniable.
So our mission today, let's unpack Ron's core ideas. Let's try to figure out why our usual approach to time often leads us right into this trap of busyness he talked about.
Okay.
And more importantly, let's find some practical principles, things you can actually use to reclaim your time and, intentionally shape the life you really want.
Sounds good. And Ron really illuminates how unique time actually is.
Yeah.
He called it the only resource we truly have that, well, you can't buy it back.
Right? Can't store it up.
Nope. Can't negotiate for more. Everyone, rich, poor, doesn't matter, gets exactly 24 hours a day.
The ultimate equalizer.
It really is.
Mm.
And how you choose to use those hours,
Mm-hmm.
well, that fundamentally determines who you become, what you achieve, even the legacy you leave.
And yet, like you said, we treat it so carelessly sometimes. It's astonishing.
It is. We just let it slip away.
Which brings us straight to that phrase Ron used,
Mm.
the trap of busyness. What exactly is that? That feeling like you're moving, but just...
Running in circles,
Yeah.
like being on a treadmill, right?
Mm.
You're putting in all this effort, sweating, working hard,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not actually going anywhere.
Yeah.
End of the day, exhausted, but no closer to your real destination.
So how do we fall into that? What are the common ways?
Well, often it's filling our days with kind of aimless activities,
Mm-hmm.
Low-value work, habits that just drain our energy.
Mm-hmm.
We mistake all that activity, that constant motion, for actual genuine investment in our future.
Right. Like being busy feels productive.
Exactly. You might spend 12 hours working, but if there's no clear goal behind it, if those actions aren't really connected to a bigger purpose,
Then you're just...
you're just spending time, not investing it. And that's the core insight Ron hammered home. Don't just spend your minutes, invest them.
spend versus invest.
Okay. Every single moment, you're either making a fleeting expense or you're laying down a building block for your future. Which one is it? That's the question he pushes us to ask.
That's a powerful way to think about it.
Yeah.
But why do we do it? Why do we get caught in this trap so easily?
Well, I think part of it is societal. Busyness is often almost worshipped. It's like a
Yeah.
status symbol.
Yeah, if you're not rushed off your feet, you're not important, right?
Precisely. But Ron argued that's one of the most dangerous illusions out there. You could have a day packed with answering emails, back-to-back meetings, putting out little fires.
Feels like you accomplished a lot.
Yeah, it does. You feel exhausted. You feel like you did a ton. But then if you step back and honestly ask yourself, did any of that really move the needle on my big life goals?
Uh-oh.
Yeah. The answer can be, pretty sobering sometimes. Ron taught that productivity isn't about how much you do. It's about how much you accomplish towards what truly matters to you.
And it's not just us, right? The world itself feels designed to just steal our focus.
Oh, completely. It's the distraction economy.
Yeah. Notifications pinging, endless social media feeds, meetings that probably could have been an email, trivial conversations. They're all fighting for our attention.
Constantly. It's like you're trying to swim upstream against this current of distraction.
So what was Ron's take on that? Just be aware of it.
He was really clear. Awareness isn't enough. If you don't actively, proactively control your time, you just become a victim of all that noise.
You get swept away.
Exactly. You have to build systems, habits, to actually repel the distractions. And this ties right back to the nature of time itself. It's irreversible.
Finite.
Totally finite. 24 hours a day, 168 a week, 8,760 a year.
Yeah.
That's it.
Unlike money, you can't earn more time.
Nope. Or health. You might recover from being sick, but time, Once it's gone, poof, it's gone
No.
forever.
You can't pull an all-nighter and add an extra hour to tomorrow.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Mm.
But no. Yeah, we treat it so casually. Scrolling for hours, watching stuff that doesn't matter, putting off the big important thing.
While wasting time on trivialities.
Yeah, it's a paradox. The most valuable thing we have, treated like it's disposable. Ron put it bluntly. Your time budget resets every single day, but the seconds you didn't invest, they're lost forever, vanished.
Wow. Okay, so external distractions are one piece. But Ron also talked about an internal enemy. He called it the comfort trap. What's that about?
The comfort trap. It's sneaky because it feels nice.
Hey, comfort is good.
It feels good.
Yeah.
It's that pleasant feeling of, indulging in kind of meaningless habits, putting off the hard stuff, just letting time drift by without real purpose.
Like hitting snooze one more time.
Or saying, I'll start that project tomorrow. It sounds harmless. Who doesn't need to relax? But the problem, Ron pointed out, is when that comfort becomes the default. A habit. A lifestyle.
Uh-huh.
Have you ever woken up, like, full of great intentions, got your to-do list ready?
Yeah, gonna conquer the world today.
Totally. And then hours later, you find yourself still scrolling social media or binge-watching a show.
Uh-huh. Maybe, definitely.
We've all been there. And we rationalize, right, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I need to unwind first. That is the comfort trap. We soothe ourselves thinking, there's plenty of time.
But there isn't, is there?
Time waits for no one. Every second that just slips by while you're choosing easy comfort over necessary action. That's an opportunity missed. Ron's insight here is that comfort is deceptive. It promises ease now.
But steals your future.
Exactly. It steals your momentum for tomorrow. Real peace, he argued, comes from intentional action, not just passive indulgence.
And Jim Rohn's own story really hits this home, doesn't it? His turning point.
It really does. He was a young guy, had dreams, but kind of stuck.
Yeah.
Complaining a lot about his circumstances, blaming the economy, his background, the usual stuff.
We've all done that too.
Sure. And then his mentor, this guy, Earl Schuff, just laid it out for him. He said something like, Jim, the problem isn't the economy. The problem is you.
Ooh, direct.
Super direct. He said, if you want to change your life, you have to start by changing how you use your time. What do you think clicked for Ron right then?
It must have been that shift from blaming external stuff to taking responsibility.
Exactly. It was his wake-up call. Stop being a victim of circumstance. Start being the agent of your own life. And the starting point, managing your most precious resource, time.
And that's where those reasonable excuses come in.
Yes.
Ah.
I'm tired. I need a break. Just one more episode. They sound so valid, so reasonable. But Ron's point was, every single time you choose that easy comfort over the necessary action, you are literally trading away a piece of your future.
Yeah.
That hour spent scrolling, that's an hour you didn't invest in your dream.
He had that great analogy, too, about time being like a bank account.
Yeah, the 86,400 seconds analogy, brilliant. Every morning, life deposits 86,400 seconds into your account.
Use them or lose them.
Precisely.
Yeah.
If you don't use them by the end of the day, they just vanish. No rollover. Never get them back.
What was he trying to get across with that?
It makes you see time not as this infinite flow, but as capital.
Yeah.
Something concrete you possess each day. Exactly. Stop thinking of time as something that just happens. See it as capital you manage. And with capital, you have two choices. You can spend it, or you can invest it.
Okay, define those again in Ron's terms.
Spending time is using it on things that offer no real long-term value. Things that don't move your goals forward, don't improve your life. Just gone.
Like mindless scrolling or complaining.
Right. Investing time, on the other hand, is using it strategically for self-development, learning new skills, building quality relationships, creating real value, things that pay dividends later.
And the trap is we confuse the two.
We absolutely do. We think all that busy activity is investing, when often it's just spending time on non-essentials, on things that don't really matter in the long run. So the key takeaway, treat your time like precious capital. Every second is an investment. Make sure it's yielding a return that matters to you.
Okay, so if time is capital and we need to invest it wisely, what connects our dreams, our goals, to actually achieving them? Ron had a specific word for this. Discipline. Yeah, that powerful quote, discipline is the bridge between dreams and success. But discipline sounds hard, maybe unpleasant.
People often react that way, yeah. They think of punishment or forced, miserable work. But that wasn't Ron's meaning at all.
So what did he mean?
For Ron, discipline was simply about prioritizing the important tasks, especially when they're difficult or you don't feel like doing them. It's about overcoming that lure of comfort to do what's necessary for your future self.
Like the Olympic athlete example.
Perfect example.
Hmm.
Do you think they feel like getting up at 5 a.m. every single day to train? Probably not always,
Probably not.
but they do it. Why? Because they have discipline. They understand that every hour invested today, even the uncomfortable ones, is a step closer to that gold medal, that big goal. That's discipline. It's the consistent choice to do what you should do, not just what you feel like doing.
So it's not punishment.
No, it's the consistent choice of future gain over instant gratification. That's the bridge.
Okay, that makes sense. So how do we build that bridge? How do we apply this discipline practically? Did Ron offer specific tools?
He did. Very practical stuff. One key habit was nightly planning.
Just planning the next day.
Yeah, spending just 10 minutes or so each evening. Write down tomorrow's tasks, but crucially, prioritize them. Focus on the tasks that have real long-term value.
Not just the urgent little things.
Exactly. Things like learning a skill, exercising, working on a major project.
Yeah.
When you wake up with a clear, prioritized plan, you're far less likely to drift into that comfort trap or get overwhelmed by reacting to everything.
That makes sense. But what about when you do feel overwhelmed? That to-do list feels endless, everything feels urgent. How does Ron's philosophy help there? Maybe something like the Eisenhower matrix fits in.
The Eisenhower matrix is a perfect tool that embodies Ron's principles. Categorizing tasks. Important, urgent, important, not urgent, not important, urgent, not important, not urgent.
Right, the 4 quadrants.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, where does the comfort trap usually pull us?
Towards the not important, not urgent stuff. Watching TV, aimless scrolling.
Bingo. Easy, comfortable, but ultimately useless.
Mm-hmm.
And the urgent, not important stuff, that feels productive, but often it's just other people's priorities.
Okay.
Ron, like Eisenhower, emphasized focusing your energy on the important, but not urgent quadrant.
What kinds of things fall in there?
Learning, planning, relationship building, strategic thinking, exercise, working on your most significant goals. These things rarely scream for attention today.
Right. They don't have an immediate deadline usually.
No, but they are the absolute foundation of your long-term success and fulfillment. So the big message is, don't just live in the tyranny of the urgent. Proactively carve out time for the truly important. Don't let urgency dictate your whole day. Prioritize importance to shape your future.
Let's make this concrete. Think about Anna, an aspiring journalist, right? Lots of talent, passion, great ideas, but she just kept putting off the actual writing.
Procrastination. The comfort trap in action.
Totally. It felt too hard, too daunting, so she'd spend hours on TikTok telling herself, oh, I just need to relax, find inspiration, but months went by. No progress.
Familiar story.
Then one day she stumbles across Ron. Don't let comfort steal your dreams. And something clicked. She decided, okay, time for a change.
So what did she do?
She started small, but consistently, nightly planning, like you mentioned, and she dedicated 2 specific hours every single day just to writing. No excuses.
Building the discipline muscle.
Exactly. And she used the Pomodoro technique, 25 minutes focused work, 5-minute break, just to keep herself on track and make it feel less overwhelming.
Breaking it down. Smart.
6 months later, she hadn't just started, she'd completed a whole series of really strong articles, got them published, and that led to an internship offer at a major newspaper. Boom.
Wow, that's fantastic. What does Anna's story really show us?
For me, it's the power of those intentional choices, like you said, and the compounding effect. It wasn't one huge heroic effort overnight.
No, it was consistency.
Yeah. Small, disciplined steps, day after day. She consciously replaced the comfort trap habit with a productive habit. And the results, well, they speak for themselves. It shows that small, consistent acts of discipline really do add up to massive achievements over time.
Absolutely. It's the slow, steady pressure that shapes the riverstone.
That's a great image. And it makes me think about another really famous Ron idea. The one about your environment, specifically the people in it.
Ah, yes. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
That one. It sounds simple, but it's profound, isn't it? It's not just about picking friends. It's about how your circle literally shapes your thinking, your attitude, your actions.
It's incredibly powerful. And Ron's own life is the perfect illustration. Remember his backstory?
Yeah.
Stuck, low-paying job, ordinary life.
Right, before he met Earl Schoaf.
Exactly. Meeting Schoaf changed everything. Schoaf didn't just give him business tips. He instilled a whole new mindset about time, potential, self-worth by deliberately spending time learning from Schoaf and other successful people.
He transformed himself.
Completely. From that ordinary worker to this global speaker impacting millions, it's living proof. Who you associate with profoundly influences your trajectory. Ron's lesson there is crystal clear. Your path is often a reflection of your closest connections. Choose them wisely. Invest time with people who lift you up, who challenge you positively.
Okay, so we're choosing our environment carefully, but what about controlling our own time within that environment? Life throws demands at you constantly. Saying no sounds great in theory, but what if saying no risks your job or damages a relationship? That's a real-world pressure.
That's a really important point. Ron wasn't suggesting you become a hermit or just shut everyone out.
Mm.
He was teaching the art of saying no, specifically, saying no to things that don't align with your core goals and values.
So it's strategic refusal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because think about it.
Right.
Every time you say yes to something unimportant, something that doesn't serve your bigger purpose, you're implicitly saying no to something that does.
You're trading away time from your priorities.
Precisely. He used that jar analogy, remember. You have a limited jar of your time. You need to put the big rocks in first.
Your important goals, values, relationships.
Right. If you fill the jar first with all the small pebbles and sand, the trivial tasks, the distractions, other people's unimportant requests, what happens?
No room left for the big rocks.
Exactly. So the insight is, to really master your time, you have to master the art of the intentional no. It isn't about being selfish or unhelpful. It's about protecting the space needed for your most important contributions, your big rocks.
That makes a lot of sense. Put the big rocks in first. And this brings us back to something we mentioned earlier, habits. Building those small, powerful habits feels like a key part of making all this actually work.
Absolutely fundamental. Ron constantly stressed that success isn't usually born from some massive one-off action. It's the steady, consistent accumulation of small, positive habits.
The compounding effect again.
Yes. Instead of trying to overhaul your entire life overnight, which is overwhelming and rarely sticks focus on tiny, almost effortless routines, things you can implement easily, but that build momentum over time.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Could be anything that moves you forward, even slightly. Writing just 500 words a day if you want to be a writer. Spending 15 minutes learning a language. Doing a 10-minute walk. Reading 10 pages of a good book.
Small things.
Small, consistent actions. They don't feel like much on any given day, but over weeks, months, years, they create huge results. And sometimes you hit on what people call keystone habits.
What's a keystone habit?
It's a small change, a small habit, that seems to trigger a cascade of other positive changes in your life, almost automatically.
Oh, interesting. Like what?
Maybe waking up just 30 minutes earlier. Use that time to plan your day or exercise or read quietly. That one simple habit can ripple outwards, improving your focus, your health, your mood, your productivity all day long. It unlocks other positive behaviors.
Finding those small hinges that swing big doors.
That's a great way to put it. Build small, powerful habits consistently.
Stepping back from the tactics, the planning, the habits, for Jim Rohn, wasn't the ultimate role of all this time management something bigger, beyond just efficiency or getting rich?
Oh, absolutely. For Ron, mastering your time wasn't just about personal success in a narrow sense. The ultimate aim was to live a life of genuine meaning and impact.
Meaning and impact.
Yeah. He would often challenge people with that profound question. What legacy will you leave?
Wow. That puts things in perspective.
Doesn't it? It's a stark reminder that our time here is finite. It forces you to think beyond the day-to-day hustle and consider the bigger picture. What kind of mark do you want to leave on the world? What truly matters in the end?
So living with meaning, in Ron's view, meant investing time how?
It meant consciously investing time in what genuinely nourishes your soul and contributes something positive. Building deep, lasting relationships. Pursuing passions that light you up. Helping others. Making a difference, big or small.
So it's balancing the drive for achievement with life itself.
Exactly. It's not just about work and self-development. It's also about feeding your spirit. Quality time with family, quiet reflection, enjoying simple moments of peace or beauty. That balance is key to a meaningful life, not just a productive one. Ron's ultimate message wasn't just be efficient. It was use your time to build a life worth living and leave a legacy worth remembering.
And that ties right back to his other core idea. You need a destination. If you don't know where you're going, every road leads to nowhere.
Couldn't have said it better.
Right.
Effective time management, purposeful living, it all starts with clarity. Clear, overarching life goals. What do you truly want? Those goals become your compass.
Guiding your daily choices, your priorities.
Precisely. Look at Ron's own journey again. He didn't start by saying, I want to be a global speaker. He started with simpler, clearer goals.
Hmm.
Double my income, read a book a month, improve myself.
Right. Achievable steps.
Yes, but they were aligned with a desire for a better life. Those clear objectives guided his daily time investments, learning, working smarter, associating with the right people, and that ultimately led him to that incredible life transformation. The truth is profound. Clarity of purpose is the essential compass for effective time investment. Without it, you're just drifting.
So it really all comes full circle, doesn't it? Back to that idea. Don't wish for more time because you can't get it. Wish to be better with the time you have.
Exactly. Everyone gets the same 24 hours. The game isn't about magically stretching the clock. It's about optimizing yourself within those 24 hours.
How?
By improving your skills, refining your mindset, getting crystal clear on your priorities, and building the discipline to act on them. Becoming better at using the time you've been given.
Because time, it won't wait.
It waits for no one. Ron's whole philosophy is really a powerful call to action. Decide. Decide right now that you're not going to waste another precious day on things that don't truly serve you, that don't move you towards the life you desire.
Like he said, life is not about waiting for the storm to pass. It's
Yeah.
about learning to dance in the rain. Embrace the challenges, manage your time effectively within them, and keep moving forward.
So, the final thought for everyone listening. Time really is the most precious gift you have. You can't buy it, you can't borrow it, you certainly can't get it back once it's gone.
Every second you use today is a direct investment in the person you are becoming tomorrow.
So the question is, will you let comfort continue to steal your dreams? Or will you decide right now to stand up, take control, master your time, and finally start building the life you've always truly dreamed of?
The decision, as Ron would say, is yours. And the time to act. It's always now.